Good afternoon. It is Friday, September 30th. It's the last Friday in the month of September. We turn the page, we turn the calendar to October beginning tomorrow. And if you had tuned in and saw, here's what's happening next, you saw that this Sunday is, while it's World Communion Sunday, we're actually redirecting our energies to pay more attention to creation spirituality. Will celebrate animals, Fauna Sunday. So if you plan to join us in person, please bring a story to share about one of your favorite pets or animals. And it looks like I need to turn my microphone down. Bear with me. I'm going to try this. How's that? I think that'll work. No. All right, give me a second here. Let me get my mic situation corrected. And we're going to do this right now. All right, so we're going to drop it down here. That should be better. Looks good. I was overpowering the system, and I apologize. Today we're going to look at the life of Pete Seeger. He was born in May 3rd, 1919, and he passed away. He left us January 27, 2014. His work started in the 1940s and continued right up to the very end. So we have at least one interview. We have a lot of his music, live music. I've realized that if I can find live music for our time together, then I'll get out of copyright police. Don't ask me why. So Pete Seeger, the singer, folk song collector, songwriter, spearheaded an American folk revival. Let's go here. So there's an early picture of him with his favorite instrument, the 5-string banjo. His other favorite instrument that is recorded was a 12-string guitar, but I could not find any video clips with him playing the 12-string guitar. He spent a lifelong career championing folk music as both vital heritage and a catalyst for social change. He did not see a difference between celebrating the heritage of the early folk musicians and bringing those words and songs to light to a people who perhaps have lost sight of the need for social change. So he died when he was 94. His career carried him from singing at labor rallies to top 10, from college auditoriums to folk festivals, and a conviction for contempt of Congress that took 10 years to unravel, for defying the House Un-American Activities Committee in the 1950s. And I think those of you that may be under the age of 40 have lost sight or don't know that America went after the artists that were Americans and put a muzzle on them and locked them up and threw away the key in some cases. He was vigilant. He remained vigilant to stand up for the rights of the poor and the working poor. And so his conviction did not thwart his work. And towards the end of his life, we find him performing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial at an inaugural concert for Barack Obama. Mr. Seeger, folk music and sense of community were inseparable. And where he saw a community, he saw a possibility of political action. In his hearty tenor, Mr. Seeger, the beanpole of a man who most often played a 12-string guitar, this is from the New York Times, or a 5-string banjo, sang topical songs and children's songs, humorous tunes, and earnest anthems, always encouraging the listeners to join in. We're going to see that in a couple of the pieces that I've picked for today. His agenda paralleled the concerns of the American left. He sang for the labor movement in the 40s and the 50s. He worked hard for civil rights and anti-Vietnam wars rallies in the 60s and for the environmental and anti-war causes in the 70s and beyond. We Shall Overcome, which Mr. Seeger adapted from old spirituals, became a civil rights anthem. He was a prime mover in the folk revival that transformed popular music in the 50s. So last week we spent a little bit of time with Peter, Paul, and Mary, and they certainly benefited from Pete Seeger's work and his focus and his initiative. Pete was a member of the Weavers, and he sang hits, including Lead Belly's Goodnight, Irene, which reached #1, and If I Had a Hammer, which he wrote with the group's Lee Hayes. Another of Mr. Seeger's songs, Where Have All the Flowers Gone, became an anti-war standard, and in 1965, the Byrds had a #1 hit with a folk rock version of Turn, 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 Mr. Seeger's setting of a passage of the from the book of the Ecclesiastes. So this is Pete with his family. That's young Pete. That's his stepmom, and that's his dad. Pete was a mentor to younger folk and topical singers in the 50s and the 60s. Among them included Bob Dylan, Don McLean, Bernice Johnson Reagan, who founded Sweet Honey in the Rock. Decades later, Bruce Springsteen drew from Mr. Seeger's repertoire of traditional music about a turbulent America in recording his 2006 album titled We Shall Overcome. The Seeger Sessions, and in 2009, he performed Woody Guthrie's This Land Is Your Land with Mr. Seeger at the Obama inaugural. At a Madison Square Garden concert celebrating Mr. Seeger's 90th birthday, Bruce introduced him as a living archive of American music and conscience, a testament to the power of song and culture to nudge history along. During the MacArthur era, Mr. Seeger's political affiliations included membership in the Communist Party in the 1940s, and it led to him being blacklisted and later indicted for contempt of Congress. That pressure broke up the Weavers, and Mr. Seeger disappeared from commercial television until the late 1960s. But he never stopped recording, he never stopped performing, he never stopped listening to songs from ordinary people. And through the decades, his songs have become part of American folklore. My job, he said in 2009, is to show folks there's a lot of good music in the world, and if used right, it may help to save the planet. Mr. Seeger was born in Manhattan on May 3rd, 1919, to Charles Seeger, a musicologist, and Constance de Cliver Edson Seeger, a concert violinist. His parents later divorced. He began playing the ukulele while attending Avon Old Farms in a private boarding school in Connecticut, and his father and stepmother, the composer Ruth Crawford Seeger, collected and transcribed rural American music, as did folklorists like John and Alan Lomax. He heard the five-string banjo and would become instantly his main instrument when his father took him to Square Dance Festival in North Carolina. Let's take a look at an early piece of music that was put together by Pete Seeger with Mississippi John Hurt, Hetty West, and the title of this is Goodnight, Irene. Goodnight.
She bought it.
So, we got just time for a couple of verses of Goodnight, Irene. Start off.
Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I will see you in my dream. Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I take great notion, jump in the river and town. I
with us.
Irene, good night. Irene, good night.
Okay, this is an early picture of the Weavers. There is Pete Seeger with his banjo and the rest of the artists, and this is circa around 1950s. Mr. Seeger invested $1,700 in 17 acres of land overlooking the Hudson River in Beacon, New York, and began building a log cabin there in the late 1940s. He lived in Beacon for the rest of his life. In 1949, Mr. Seeger, Hayes, Ronnie Gilbert, and Fred Hellerman started working together as the Weavers. They were signed to Decca Records by Gordon Jenkins, who was the company's music director and was the arranger for Frank Sinatra. With Jenkins' elaborate orchestral arrangements, the group recorded a repertoire that stretched from If I Had a Hammer and a South African song, Whim Away. The title, which resulted in Mr. Seeger's mishearing of Mbube, the name of the South African hit by Solomon Linda, to an Israeli song titled Zina, 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 and a cleaned-up version of Lead Belly's Goodnight, Irene on stage. They also sang more pointed topical songs. In the 50s and 51, Weavers were national stars, hit singles, engagements, major nightclubs, and their hits included Kisses, Sweeter Than Wine, and Guthrie's. That would be Woody Guthrie's So Long, It's Been Good to Know Ya. Sold an estimated 4 million singles. Their commercial success was dampened, however, when the Red Channels, an influential pamphlet that named performers with suspected communist ties, appeared in June of 50 and listed Pete Seeger, although he had quit the Communist Party. He later criticized himself for not leaving sooner. He continued to describe himself as a communist, lowercase c. By the summer of 51, Red Channel's citations, leaks from FBI files, had led to the cancellation of all the television appearances by the Weavers. In 51, the Senate Internal Security Committee investigated the Weavers for sedition, and in 52, a former member of People Songs, which was a group founded by Pete Seeger, testified before the House Un-American Activities Committee that three of the four Weavers were members of the Communist Party. As the engagements dried up, the Weavers disbanded, and they reunited occasionally in the 50s and throughout the 60s. Shut out of national exposure, Mr. Seeger turned primarily to solo concerts, touring college coffee houses, churches, schools, and summer camps, building an audience for folk music among young people. He started to write a long-running column for the folk song magazine titled Sing Out, and he recorded prolifically for the independent Folkways label, singing everything from children's songs to Spanish Civil War anthems. We're going to hear a song from the Weavers, one of their top hits, Kisses Sweeter Than Wine.
Sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine.
When I was a young man and never been kissed, I got to thinking over what I had missed. I got me a girl, I kissed her and then, oh Lord, I kissed her again.
Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine.
He asked me would I marry and be his sweet wife, and we would be so happy all of our life. He begged and he pleaded like a natural man, and then, oh Lord, I gave him my hand. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine.
I worked mighty hard, and so did my wife, working hand in hand to make a good life, with corn in the field and wheat in the bins. Then, oh Lord, I was the father of twins.
Just about 4. They all had sweethearts a knocking on the door. They all got married and they didn't hesitate. I was, oh Lord, the grandmother of 8. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Now we are old and ready to go. We get to thinking what happened a long time ago. We had a lot of kids, trouble and pain, but, oh Lord, we do it again. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine.
I love the words to that song. I hope you do as well. If you're looking for the lyrics, you can do a Google search and you can find them. It is a life's journey song, and it's told well by the Weavers. This is a picture of Pete Seeger from 1963 working with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee rally in Greenwood, Mississippi. And so this became a point where he would spend much time working to draw attention to civil rights and empowering folks who have been marginalized, oppressed, and put off to the sides. And we shall hear, he did a live recording, a live concert. Let me see, I think it was 1963. It was, yes, June 8th, 1963. And it was performed at Carnegie Hall, and the piece that we're going to hear from that concert is We Shall Overcome.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. I do believe we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Deep in my heart, oh, deep in my heart, I do believe, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome someday. We shall live in peace. 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 Someday, someday. most important verse is the one they wrote down in Montgomery, Alabama. They said, "We are not afraid." And the young people taught everybody else a lesson. All the older people that had learned how to compromise and learned how to take it easy and be polite and get along and leave things as they were. The young people taught us all a lesson. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. Today! Shall overcome someday. We shall overcome someday. The whole wide world around. The whole wide world around. The whole wide world around. The whole wide world around.
All right. That had become the anthem for the Civil Rights March for equal rights for people of color. It was painful to watch those images of our police tackling citizens of the United States. But that was then, and today is now. I'm not sure that much has changed other than we can get information out there about how poorly we behave to our fellow human beings here in America. This picture is a picture of Pete, performing at the Mosque Theater in New York in 1965. And I know that many of you make fun of this song, Kumbaya, as a camp song. And I understand where it comes from. Maybe you got too much of it as a child growing up, when you went to camp, whatever. But here is that piece of music that we're going to experience with Pete Seeger.
I wonder how many of you know this one. Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya, 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 Lord, Kumbaya, oh Lord, Kumbaya. The history of this song is very interesting. It confounds all the folklorists. There was a missionary came back from Angola, West Africa, and he said, here's a song which is sung around the mission. People asked him, where did it come from? He says, I don't know. A friend of mine, a Methodist preacher, was singing it in North Carolina. They said, oh, this isn't Kumbaya, this isn't an African song, this is just old come by here, Lord, come by here. Come by here, Lordy, come by here, come by. Somehow it got changed when it went across the ocean a second time. And who's to say which is the right version now? Except it's a good song. Now, it does need some harmony. You make up your own harmony as we go along. Someone's sleeping, Lord, kumbaya. Someone's weeping low, kumbaya. Someone's weeping low, kumbaya. Someone's singing, someone's singing, oh, kumbaya. Someone's singing, oh, kumbaya. Someone's singing, oh, kumbaya. Oh, kumbaya, kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya, kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya, kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya.
All right, this is a picture on the left of Pete Seeger and his wife Toshi, and on the right, the same. Many, many decades later, she died in 2013. They remained married for almost 70 years, just a few days or a few weeks shy of their 70th year anniversary. During the late 60s, Pete Seeger started an improbable project, a sailing ship that would crusade for cleaner water on the Hudson River. And this was supported by his wife. His wife was actually the business brains behind his endeavors, his music, and his initiatives. They created concerts to raise money to build the Clearwater 106-foot sloop, which launched in '69 with a crew of musicians, and the ship became a symbol and rallying point for anti-pollution efforts and education. Let me find some more information about Toshi and this sloop. So Pete kept performing into the 21st century despite flagging voice. You're going to hear this in a couple of clips. He celebrated his 90th birthday on May 3rd, 2009, Madison Square Concert, a benefit for the Hudson River sloop Clearwater, with Bruce Springsteen, Dave Matthews, John Mellencamp, Joan Baez, Ani DeFranco, Roger McGuinn of the Byrds, Emmylou Harris, and a dozen of other musicians coming forward to pay tribute. That August, he was back at the Newport Folk Festival for their 50th anniversary. And what do we have next? Here's a picture of that boat that was in construction that Pete raised money to draw awareness to what was happening to the Hudson River. And there were many power brokers that were dead set against him drawing attention to what was really going on. General Electric comes to mind. They were pouring PCBs, waste, into the Hudson River, killing vegetation, plant life, and animal life. Eventually, he was able to draw community support, draw the attention, and forced, I believe it was General Electric, to clean up the waterways. Here's a short little clip from 2007, Beacon Hill, New York, in which he speaks out on climate change.
One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping on our shore, one earth so green and round.
So does all this make you count yourself an optimist overall, or not?
An optimist in a funny kind of way. Even the disasters may teach us. The oceans rising may be the wake-up call for the whole human race. I think there'll be good stories told. How we saved this little stream, how we saved our mountain, how we saved the community.
I just blogged on the Times website. I wrote about a project. There's a climate activist group that's asking people to write 100-year letters. This is a letter to your great-great-great-great-grandchildren.
Oh, a wonderful idea.
I don't know if you could quickly think of what you would say in a letter to someone from 100 years from now about where we are now.
Kids, a lot of people thought I was over-optimistic when I says we got a 50-50 chance of there being a human race here 100 years from now. And how glad I am that you were on the side that came the 50-50. We managed to keep it.
One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping on our shore, one earth so green and round. Who could ask for
Okay, we're going to take a look back to a piece of music that the Weavers assembled, 1952. The title of the piece is Wimoweh. Now, I want you to listen to the bass line. You may be familiar with the tune, but these are the original harmonies from the 50s that give us insight into the piece of music that came to us from Africa. Wimoweh. All right, for some of you purists may say, where are the words? That's the tune, but I'm waiting for the words to appear. And I think that for me, what I enjoyed most about that piece is that it sounded as if it was the voices of nature coming together and singing a celebratory song of what it means to be alive. All the different voices in nature. This is this is a picture from 1982 from the United Electrical Workers at a rally in North Versailles, Pennsylvania, in which they honored Pete Seeger for his work in drawing attention to the plight of the waterways, the land, and their involvement to make our world a better place. Here is Bruce Springsteen and Pete Seeger at the Lincoln Memorial at the We Are One inaugural celebration of the Lincoln Memorial, January 2009. So we're going to listen to this because they come together and celebrate not only the inauguration of our nation's first Black president, but later in the year in New York, they celebrate Pete's 90th birthday. And so there are so many people here: Arlo Guthrie on the far left, Joan Baez, Bruce Springsteen, Patty Sciaffa, Pete Seeger in the center, Dave Matthews, and Tao Rodriguez celebrating on stage with Pete his 90th birthday in a birthday concert at Madison Square Garden, New York, 2009. And they'll be performing later in the month. They performed This Land Is Your Land in front of the Lincoln Memorial.
We'd like you to join us in perhaps with the greatest song ever written about our home. The father of American folk music, Pete Seeger, his grandson, Tao. Lead us, Pete.
You sing it with us. We'll give you the words. When I was walking that ribbon of highway,
as I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me and in the skyway, I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me.
everybody sing it.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and I rambled and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me.
Everybody.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me.
In the squares of the city,
Squares of the city,
by the shadow of the
the
steeple,
shadow of the steeple,
by the relief office, I saw my people as they stood there hungry.
they stood hungry.
I stood whistling.
There whistling. This land was made for you and me.
A great high wall tried to stop me. Great big sign there. Private property. On the other side, it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
nobody living can ever stop me. As I go walking on Freedom Highway, nobody living can make me turn back. Hey, this land was made for you and me. Everybody, this land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me.
Powerful image, powerful song, powerful person. Here's a last picture of Pete with his iconic banjo. That banjo head looks like this. It had been with him most of his time, most of his recording time. A 5-string banjo. It's a very simple banjo. He never upgraded. He never changed anything out except the strings. This machine surrounds hate. And it would be nice if I got this guy out of the way, and I will do that, and forces it to surrender. So what a powerful person Pete is. He has influenced so many people, so many generations. And what we saw in that last video was him at the age of 90, still with banjo in hand in the year 2009, leading a large group of people singing "This Land Was Made for You and Me." In 2010, he donated this banjo to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum in Cleveland, Ohio. As we come to the end of our time together, we're going to take a look at a few remaining pieces. There were lots of clips that we could spend time with. This one is "If I Had a Hammer" from Live at Farm Aid on September 21st, 2013.
Friends, at age 94, I don't have much voice left. But here's a song I think you know, and if you sing it, why, we'll make a good sound. If I had a hammer, I hammer in the morning, a hammer in the evening, all over this land. A hammer out danger, warning, a hammer out warning, love, a hammer out love between the brothers and the sisters. If I had a bell, if I the bell. Ring it, I ring it in all. I ring it all over the land. Danger, ring out. Warning, yeah. Love, ring out. Love between the brothers and the sisters. You know, I got a hammer and I got a bell and I got a song to sing all over the land. Justice, the hammer of justice. Freedom, the bell of freedom. Love, it's a song about love between the brothers and the sisters.
All right. If you heard him say something to his age, 85, I don't think that's correct. I don't think he said 85. He was actually 95. This was 2013 when he last performed, because shortly after this, he dies. And that, a lot can happen in 10 years, especially when you get to the end of one's life. The fact that he is upright, mobile, still able to hold his banjo, and you notice this is another banjo. This is not the one that he donated to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So who knows how many banjos he had. I do know that he lived very simply. He built that cabin, and he and his wife stayed in that cabin their entire life. So where are we going? This is another piece of music from that concert. Where Have All the Flowers Gone? You noticed how he worked to get everybody to sing, and that was the power of Pete. That he engaged people wherever they were. And if you didn't want to sing harmony, or you didn't want to sing melody, he encouraged you to find your own harmony and sing it. There was no wrong way to be engaged with Pete's music. So I wish more musicians would take on Pete's spirit and encourage people. So here we go. Where Have All the Flowers Gone? This was a war anthem protesting the Vietnam War. Where have all the flowers gone?
Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Girls have picked them, every one. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the young girls gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young girls gone? Taken husbands, everyone. When will they ever have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing, where have all the young men gone? Long time ago, where have all the young men gone? The great everyone, when will they ever learn? When will they Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? Gone to graveyards, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago. Where have all the graveyards gone? Covered with flowers, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they Sing it again as when will we ever learn? Eh? We ever learn? When will we ever learn?
All right. We got a nice view of the banjo head, and it is his banjo. So the information I received from the New York Times is wrong. While it was donated to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it was not in 2010. Pete was still alive. It would have been donated somewhere near the end of his life. It was donated there because Pete attempted to sell it on eBay to raise money for Haitian earthquake relief. Now think about this. His instrument that has been with him 60, 70 years, he was willing to give that up, sell it, and take the money that he received for Haitian relief. A powerful man. This picture is taken from October 2011. Pete is protesting and marching in concert with the Occupy Wall Street movement, 2011. He had no problem getting in the middle of things that were wrong and calling our attention to that and inviting us peacefully to deal with corporate greed and deal with profit for the sake of profit. We have one last piece to listen to. It comes from a concert that Pete participated in the 50th anniversary of Amnesty International, and he sings the Bob Dylan tune Forever Young with a whole bunch of young people.
May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young. May you stay forever young. May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth and see the lights surrounding you. May you always be courageous, stand upright and be strong, and may you stay forever young. May you stay forever young. May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of changes shift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung, and may you stay forever young. 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 May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young. May you stay forever young. May you stay forever young.
You're never too old to change the world.
So we've come to the end of our time together this Friday. I hope you found some music that speaks and soothes your soul. I hope you enjoyed the person we've come to know as Pete Seeger. That piece of music was also the theme song for an NBC drama that premiered in 2010 titled Parenthood. You can look for the words online. In the meantime, I bid you well. Next week, next Wednesday, we take a look at our continuing exploration of the lives of the mystics from the Middle Ages, focusing on Francis Assisi. That is Wednesday at noon by Zoom. If you'd like to join us for that time together, that midweek's study, give me a private message and let me know. And next Friday, our Music and Poetry and Mystics series continues as we explore the personhood of Billie Holiday. So with that, I bid you well. God bless you, and may the Lord bless you and keep you. Amen.